ำให้ฉันหวั่นไหวแล้วลงไหลอย่างแรงก็อยากจะเดินเข้าไปหาไปทักล้อเล่นกับเธอว่ารักแต่มันก็เร็วเกินไปไอ้พวกผู้ชายที่เคยเล่นกันครั้งก่อนต้องหยุดเอาไว้ก่อนเพราะตอนนี้จะเลิกคุยทั้งอำเภอเพื่อเธอคนเดียวเนี่ยรู้ไหมจะไม่ยอมเล่นกับใครจะยกให้เธอไปทั้งใจจะมีเพียงเธอเท่านั้นจะเอาเธอแค่คนเดียวอย่าทำให้เสี้ยวเราเลี้ยวลบได้ไหมเพราะรักเธอจนหมดใจจะมอบให้เธอไปทั้งกายขอเพียงแค่เธอมารักกันฉันยอมเลิกคุยทั้งอำเภอ
จะเลิกคุยทั้งอำเภอเพื่อผมคนเดียวเนี่ยจริงไหมเธอจะไม่ไล่กับใครจะยกให้ผมไม่ทั้งใจจะมีแค่ผมเท่านั้นจะเอาผมแค่คนเดียวไม่ทำให้เสี้ยวแล้วเลี้ยวก็ลบแน่นอนจะบอกว่ารักบางอ่อนจะบอกฝันดีก่อนนอนนี่เธอไม่ใจได้เลย
จะเลิกคุยทั้งอำเภอเพื่อเธอคนเดียวเนี่ยรู้ไหมจะไม่ยอมเล่นกับใครจะยกให้เธอไปทั้งใจจะมีเพียงเธอเท่านั้นจะเอาเธอแค่คน
Sawasdee Krap, Jed here from Thailand, Myland. Now Thailand is one of the most popular travel destinations for many people and for many different reasons. Families come for the beautiful beaches, national parks, wildlife, kid-friendly hotels, entertainment and the many different food choices. Many single males come to meet beautiful Thai women or to hook up with girls from the lady bars. Backpackers and digital nomads come not just for the great weather and beautiful areas, but for the cheap travel opportunities to get around the country and the cheap food and accommodation on offer. Young couples and honeymooners come to Thailand for the romantic sunsets and the wonderful photo opportunities in both rural and coastal areas. And of course, retirees come here because they have the time to live their lives to the fullest and enjoying themselves doing things that they couldn't do during their working lives and while raising families. So there's something for everyone in the land of smiles. However, many people come to Thailand to visit the many tropical islands that are scattered around the country's coastal waters in the eastern Gulf of Thailand and the western area that borders the Andaman Sea. Thailand has more than 1,400 islands scattered around the coastline, many of them of which are uninhabited, others that are virtually undiscovered by tourism, and some that are teeming with tourists, especially during the high season, and this is what today's video is about. The most popular islands for tourists in Thailand are Phuket, which is the largest and most visited island in the country, and Koh Samui. I've lived on both of those islands in my 7 years of retirement living here in Thailand, so I know them well. But there are so many other islands that are not so touristy and well worth a visit, especially if you don't like crowds and want to explore areas that many of the tourists don't get to see. If you're planning on visiting Thailand, visiting a few of the islands is a must and could be the highlight of any trip to the kingdom. Staying on an island is an excellent way to unwind by spending your days on tropical beaches, sitting below swaying palm trees and listening to the gentle lapping waves thousands of miles away from the cares and worries back in your home country. But the islands that I'm going to show you here in this video offer a full range of tropical beaches, island vibes and tourist facilities, though many of them not so much, such as Phuket and Koh Samui. Having said that, this can be a blessing depending on what you want to get out of your island getaway holiday. This video features the islands in the most popular order for tourists, but that doesn't mean that the most popular islands are necessarily the best islands to visit. That'll depend on what your outlook in life is and what you're looking for in an island holiday. As with most things in life, the biggest, busiest or flashiest is not always the best. In fact, it's probably the opposite, as in my experience, the more secluded the island, the more relaxing and enjoyable your holiday will be. If you're not going to be in Thailand for long and you just want to visit one area or province of Thailand, the first thing you're going to have to decide is what area you want to go to, as there are 3 areas around Thailand where the best areas are. The Northern Islands are situated around Pattaya and Rayong areas in the Gulf of Thailand. The East Coast Islands such as Koh Samui, Koh Phangan and Koh Tao, and the Western Islands that stretch from near the Myanmar border down as far as the Malaysian border. So let's start with Phuket, the biggest and busiest island in Thailand. Phuket sits on the west coast and is Thailand's largest and most easily accessible island, bringing visitors by the millions each year to its shores through its international airport. Unlike other islands where you need to take a ferry to reach their shores, Phuket is connected to the mainland by a causeway bridge, so you can drive onto the island. This is great for accessing the island if you have a vehicle, but not so good for the roads and the air pollution, as tens of thousands of cars, buses and motorbikes drive across the causeway every day, so it's not such a tropical island than some of the more remote islands. Once you enter the island, you'll find a large selection of hotels, restaurants, bars and white sandy beaches waiting for you throughout the island. Phuket also has a well-earned reputation for being crowded and busy, especially in the notorious Patong area on the eastern coast. But if you get out of the more touristy areas, there's some beautiful secluded beaches and smaller beach towns. Phuket is an excellent option if you're looking for an all-round holiday combining tropical beaches with lots of activities. With its international airport, it means that you don't have to fly into Bangkok and take the long trip south to start your holidays. You can fly in directly to the international airport. When the days draw to an end, there's no shortage of places to go to kick up your heels, with many nightclubs, bars and lady bars around the island, but it's Walking Street in Patong that draws the most visitors when the sun goes down over the Andaman Sea. There are many large shopping centres and malls scattered around the island, as well as many markets and night markets where you can eat a great meal for less than 100 baht. So the next island on my list is Koh Samui. The second biggest and busiest island in Thailand is probably my most favourite area in the whole of Thailand, though not in the busy tourist season between November and March, when millions of tourists flock to the island on ferries and aeroplanes to escape the western winters and soak up the sun and party. Samui, as it's generally referred to by most Thais, as Koh means island in Thai, and they normally drop the Koh when talking about an island. Samui sits off Thailand's eastern coast in the Gulf of Thailand, and it's surrounded by many white sandy beaches with lots of mystic temples, waterfalls, mountain trails, stunning viewpoints all around the island, overlooking the beautiful bays and inlets. As in its sister island Phuket, Samui comes alive when the sun goes down, with many nightclubs, bars and lady bars open till the early hours of the morning. Samui is not a massive island, so you can watch the sun come up in the morning, then drive across to the other side of the island in the late afternoon, sip cocktails before dinner and watch the sun go down over the horizon in the west. As in Phuket, Samui does not lack in shopping malls or local markets, and you'll find them scattered all around the island. The island has many Buddhist temples that are well worth a visit during your stay, and in Thailand you're always welcome at a Buddhist temple. The island has its own airport, and the car ferry from Donsak Pier takes about 2 hours. The main towns in Samui are Chaweng, Lamai and Boput, and that's where most of the tourists stay. But if you shop around and look around the island, You'll find many bays and inlets with many hotels and accommodation outlets which are away from where most of the tourists stay. So that brings us to Koh Phangan. Koh Phangan lies 25 kilometres north of Samui, and it's accessible from Donsak Pier in Surat Thani, with the car ferry journey taking between 2.5 to 3 hours. There's also ferries from Koh Samui ferry port that takes about an hour to get to the main disembarkation point, Thongsala Pier or Hadrin Pier. Phangan is world famous for its full moon parties on Hadrin Beach, and the island is often packed out during the full moon period, with young revellers from Thailand and around the world, so it would be advisable to check when the next full moon is if you don't like crowds and a wild party atmosphere, as accommodation can become quite scarce and the prices do rise astronomically. When not in full moon mode, Phangan is an idyllic, unspoilt island with a lush tropical jungle interior with many long white sandy beaches scattered around its coastline. You won't find the same nightlife that you'll find in Phuket and Samui. It's there, but on a much smaller scale, and the same goes for shopping centres, with just a medium-sized Big C supermarket and a medium-sized Tesco Lotus shopping centre, both of those in the main town area of Thongsala. The next island is Koh Phi Phi. With over 1,400 islands scattered around the coastline of Thailand, probably the most famous of them all is Phi Phi Island. And it's not pronounced how it's spelt, Phi Phi Island, everyone calls it Phi Phi Island. It's situated in the Andaman Sea, midway between the islands of Phuket and Koh Lanta. Comprising of two islands, Koh Phi Phi Don and Koh Phi Phi Li, the islands are famous for their natural beauty, excellent diving and its wild party scene. Phi Phi was put on the tourist map 24 years ago when Leonardo DiCaprio's character Richard, an American tourist trying to find himself by running away from modern technology, ends up on Phi Phi Island in the Danny Boyle blockbuster film The Beach. The movie was filmed in Phi Phi Island's Maya Bay, which was great for tourism in Thailand, but not so great for the environment, with Phi Phi Island now being closed on regular occasions by the Thai authorities due to the pollution caused by the many tourists who make a pilgrimage to see where the film was made and unfortunately don't always dispose of their rubbish in a proper manner. I love it when I see the younger people of today screaming about the environment and about how our generation has destroyed the world, and then come to pristine islands like Phi Phi, leaving their rubbish scattered around the island that then gets washed and blown into the sea. And the same goes with full moon parties in Phangan, where the same people who preach about saving the environment leave thousands of plastic and glass bottles strewn around the beach for others to clean up every full moon, and then they go back to their own countries to protest march about saving the environment when they leave the island. Go figure. You won't be able to take a vehicle across to the island or rent a motorbike, as only essential vehicles are allowed on Phi Phi Island. So that brings us to Koh Tao. The island of Koh Tao, which translates to Turtle Island, as Tao means turtle in Thai, is located in the Gulf of Thailand and is accessible by ferry from Chumphon in Chumphon province or from Samui. And it's known for being one of the country's best locations for diving and snorkeling, and is the destination of choice in Thailand for those activities. Palm Fringe Island is best known for its abundance of sea turtles, which is where the island gets its name from. If you like lazy days on the beach, snorkeling or diving, and a friendly ambience, then Koh Tao could be the island for your trip to an island paradise in Thailand. If you are inexperienced, there are many dive schools with instructors from many countries in the world. No car ferry goes to Koh Tao, and there are no hire cars on the island, though you can rent motorbikes. There's no large shopping centres on the island either. There's a smallish shopping centre, the Koh Tao Centre, and there's also a couple of 7-Elevens and mom and pop shops. The good news is, if you like to get out and party sometimes, there's some great bars and nightlife on the island. So our next island to visit is Koh Chang. Close to the Cambodian border lies the island of Koh Chang. The island is known for its beautiful beaches as well as its rugged mountains in the middle of the island, and the mountainous terrain makes it more rugged than many other Thai islands, which makes exploring challenging and exciting. There's a wide range of accommodations, restaurants, there are many entertainment options. Though the island is a lot more laid back than Samui and Phuket. Although the thick jungle covers the mountain range, there's several lovely waterfalls well worth the hike to see. There's also a few Buddhist temples on the island. The island's about a 4.5 hour drive southeast of Bangkok, or about a 3.5 hour drive south of Pattaya. There's a Big C shopping centre on the island, and there's also many mum and pop shops and 7-Elevens for any of your shopping needs when you're on the island. The next great island to visit is Koh Lipe. Located in the southern Thai province of Sothern, near the Thai-Malaysian border, lies Koh Lipe, which is part of the Taratua National Marine Park. In the early 1990s, the island came to prominence and rapidly developed to meet the increasing tourism demand in Thailand as a far-flung tropical island due to its stunning beaches and crystal clear seas. It's also famous for its fresh, local caught seafood, as the island is home to a large fishing fleet. Being a long way south, the island is unspoilt by getting too much tourism, and the beaches are still some of the most pristine in Thailand. As in Koh Tao, Koh Lipe is famous for snorkeling and scuba diving, and its coral reefs are easy to reach as they start just a few metres away from each of the 4 main beaches. The island has a good selection of accommodations, restaurants and bars, and can be accessed from the ferry from Pak Barra Pier in Sothern. It's a fast ferry with no vehicle access, and there are no motorbike rentals on the island either, but you can rent push bikes. The main shopping district of Koh Lipe is Walking Street, with rows of colourful shops, boutique stalls and market stalls. There's also 2 7-Elevens on Walking Street. So that brings us to Koh Lanta near Krabi. The island of Koh Lanta is in the province of Krabi, and it's about an hour's drive from Krabi airport, where you can then catch a ferry from Ban Hua Hin to the island. Alternatively, you can take a ferry directly from Krabi Pier in Krabi town to Koh Lanta. Koh Lanta is close to Krabi, but the island has somehow managed to avoid the large-scale development seen elsewhere in southern Thailand. With its 9 pristine beaches, the island is popular with couples and families. Many people fly directly to Krabi, spend a few days there, then take an island break at Koh Lanta. There's no large shopping malls on the island, but many restaurants and a few bars. Koh Samet is the next island. Located off the coast of Rayong, Koh Samet is surrounded by coral reefs and is a favourite weekend getaway for Bangkokians and Pattaya locals, as it's situated a short drive from Pattaya to Hat Suwonson ferry pier. So it's not advisable to come on the weekend, as it can get quite crowded and hotel prices will rise accordingly. With several beautiful beaches and plenty of accommodation choices, and being just a few hours drive from Bangkok, it's a very popular island, but not as tranquil and restful as some of the other islands. When the sun goes down, the beaches of Koh Samet are lit up with pubs and restaurants that can get quite busy with the mix of tourists and Thais. You'll often find on an evening that the beaches are lit up with fire shows. And the final island is Koh Yao Noi. Koh Yao Noi is not such a well-known island. Situated halfway between Phuket and Krabi, it's characterised by sandy shores, mangroves, rubber plantations and fishing villages. Beaches include Low Paret and Low Jark, with Low Jark being the ferry and longtail boat pier on the island. The surrounding waters are rich in coral reefs, which always go hand in hand with dive sites. Some of the best things you can do on Koh Yao Island include kayaking, hiking, snorkeling and swimming. Longtail boats and ferries make daily trips to the Koh Yai Islands from Bang Rong Pier, located on the east coast of Phuket. A taxi ride from Phuket International Airport will take you about 25 minutes to get to the pier. The simplest way to get to Koh Yao is to fly into Phuket Airport and take a taxi to Bang Rong Pier. If you want to get around Koh Yao Yai, motorbikes and tuk-tuks are available for hire, but no cars. And some outlets have sea kayaks for rent, but many hotels and bungalows offer them for free if you book your accommodation with them. There's no real shopping opportunities on the island, but there's plenty of mum and pop shops and markets, and there's a 7-Eleven also. There's a few bars and restaurants to keep you refreshed, and a good selection of hotels and resorts. So that's the 10 most popular islands here in Thailand. Not in any particular order, it all depends on what you're looking for in an island lifestyle and what you want out of your holiday. But anyway, thanks very much for watching. I hope this was useful to you. Look out for my next video and don't forget to subscribe. Take care and safe travels. Cheers for now. So, if like I was before I moved to Thailand, you're sick of your own country that's getting more and more woke by the day, and where your rights are being slowly taken away from you by your so-called governments, where the country that you were born and grew up in is deteriorating so much that you don't even recognise it as your own anymore, maybe it's time to consider retiring or living overseas. If that's the case, take a look at my new book, The Retire in Thailand Handbook 2023. It's filled with everything that you need to know about living in the land of smiles. Or, if Thailand doesn't rock your boat, take a look at my book, The 10 Best Countries to Retire on Your Pension. Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam, Cambodia, Bali, Spain, Portugal, Costa Rica, Belize and Panama. So thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers for now.